Hi guys, my name is Kevin. I'm one of the co-founders of PluginLab, and in this video, I'm going to give you 6 pro tips to grow and monetize your ChatGPT plugin like a pro. Let's dig into it. So the first tip is you must add authentication to your plugin. I often see ChatGPT plugin creators who are afraid of adding authentication to their plugin. In fact, they are afraid of losing leads because it's true that you lose some people who just don't want to give you their email. Actually, you often lose between 30 to 50% of the people, because how it works in ChatGPT is people will get redirected when they install the plugin to your authentication portal. So some people don't like it and just drop. But the thing is, you most likely prefer having only 50% of authenticated users than 100% of unauthenticated users. And I hope you'll understand why through this video. But one thing we can say now is you have 3 types of traffic on the internet. The first one is the traffic you pay. So this one, for example, will be the Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, any influencer or any acquisition source you pay for. The second one will be the traffic you earn. This one is, for example, this YouTube video. I'm making it for free because I hope eventually you'll use PluginLab at some point. So you can think the traffic you earn as something you can do for free and will give you leads at some point in the future. For example, being listed on the ChatGPT plugin store is the traffic you'll earn. The problem with those 2 acquisition sources is you often don't control them. You often rely on external platform and you don't have control over it. The third traffic source is the traffic you own. For example, if you get an email list, you can send people emails whenever you want. So you have the control on this traffic source. You can redirect them to your service anytime. And your goal to be safer is to transform the traffic you pay and the traffic you earn into traffic you own. And you probably already understood that the best way to do it is to authenticate your users, because to use your platform, they will give you their email. And that way, you'll transform the traffic you earn from ChatGPT plugin store, for example, or the traffic you pay from influencers into traffic you own, and you'll get those users. If you don't do it, if you don't add authentication to your plugin, people will just go in and out and you'll end up losing them. You'll not be able to have any control on them. You'll not be able to go outside of ChatGPT at some point, and you are just taking risks. The second tip is talk to your users. So you have many channels where you can talk to your users. Actually, you probably already talk them on Twitter, on Instagram, or any acquisition source you have. It could be a great way to talk to them. But the simplest way, and especially if you added authentication, is to send them an email. So you can send them a welcome email and a follow-up email. So most people will just ignore your welcome email. So after 5 or 10 days, you can just send them a follow-up. Obviously, you can automate all that process. You don't have to do it manually. That being said, if you use PluginLab, for example, you'll be able to add an authentication portal in 5 minutes and authenticate your users without having to write any single line of code. And in the same time, what we do at PluginLab is when a user signs up on your plugin, we send you a webhook. So you can trigger a cloud function, for example, that will send an email, or you can trigger a Zap if you're using Zapier to trigger an email to your users. Now, I will just give you some tips for the email. I often see plugin creators who are 2 guys in a cave crafting a product who act as a big company. If you are a startup, you don't want to behave like a big company, because being flexible, being friendly, being human is your strength. It's your power compared to big companies, because they can't afford that anymore, but you can. So instead of sending a boring email saying stupid things nobody will read, instead of sending an email with an email address like noreply@blablabla.com, send them an email and invite them to reply to you. You want them to give you a feedback. This is the most crucial thing you have to understand when you talk to your users. You want to get feedback. You want to know why they are using your product. You want to know why they are not using your product. You want to know what's working well and what's not. So for example, if you sign up to PluginLab, you'll see you'll not get a corporate email. Instead, it's Kevin at pluginlab.ai who will send you a welcome message. It's my personal email, and I invite you to answer me because I want to get in touch with my users. I want to understand them. And most people ignore this email, but some of them report bugs or report any issues or explain me some features are missing. And this kind of feedback is gold for you as a startup. So you have to invite people to talk with you. And last point, if some people send you feedback, ask them to hop on a call. Don't be shy about that. People love to share feedback on a video call. Nowadays, it's a common thing you can do to get in touch with your users. Imagine yourself if the founder of your favorite product will hop on a call with you. You would be glad and you'll be thankful. So you have to do it, and you have no excuse not to do it. If, like me, you're not a native speaker and you're not confident with your English and you're making mistakes all the time, trust me, people don't care. Most people will not judge you based on your English if you're not a native speaker, because they will tell themselves, okay, this guy is making some incredible effort speaking in a foreign language just to hop on a call with me, and they will be thankful to you to help them. If your service, if your plugin provides a real thing for them, something crucial for them, you'll see they will be thankful for your time. So don't be shy, you have no excuse, talk to your users and ask them many questions. Where you come from? Where did you find us? Why are you using this plugin for? What's your expectation? What can we improve on that plugin? Anything. Ask them questions. And don't forget that during a call, it's not you talking, it's your users who talk. You have to make them talk. You don't have to own the conversation for 1 hour. That will be a big mistake. The third piece of advice is identify your churned users and your power users. So the churned users are the users who have been activated, so they were using your product at some point, but at some point they left. And you want to contact them because you want to understand why those people left and what's the reason. For example, some of them will tell you, oh yeah, I just wanted to do X and Y on your plugin, but it seems I was misled. It's not what it's doing actually, so it's not a good fit. Some of them will tell you, oh yeah, this feature is missing or this feature is broken. I wasn't able to use it. You know, you want this kind of feedback. It's very important to know why people don't use your product. This kind of feedback is gold. The second type of users you're looking for is your power users. Those users are not the users who use your product regularly. When they think about your product, they're not like, nah. You know, they're like, it's incredible. They are going crazy about your product. They can't live without it. And you have to find those power users and contact them. And you have to get insights about how they use your plugin, because you want to know their use case and what's so crazy about it and what all those users have in common to use your plugin in such way, in such crazy way, actually. So contact your churned users and contact your power users, those who use your product every day, many times a day. To identify those users, you can use tools like amplitudes in your backend, for example, or just by using PluginLab, you can get insights about who are your power users, because you'll get every event logged in PluginLab and you'll be able to export your data to conduct some analysis and, you know, understand who are the power users and what they do with your plugin actually. That being said, I explained many times on this channel how to get started with PluginLab. So if you want to add authentication, if you want to track your users, or if you want to add payment in a snap, feel free to check out the description. I will add some link to some tutorials to integrate PluginLab in 5 or 10 minutes. For real. The fourth tip is don't forget you'll have to iterate. Most people think they will create a plugin and that's it, it will be done. They will leave it here and people will use it and everything will go on its own. That's not the case. If you want to build a successful plugin and create a startup around it, you have to keep in mind that you'll have to iterate. You have to change everything. You have to talk to your users and you have to improve the features or solve bugs as you grow, because you'll get more and more traffic, so you have to solve problems all the time. More than solving problems, you most likely want to go outside of ChatGPT at some point, creating your own web application, your iOS app, or anything outside of ChatGPT. So if you choose a ChatGPT plugin idea, don't think it as a one-shot project. Think it as a long-term shot instead. And keep in mind that you'll have to work hard on this plugin on the long term. Obviously, if you're just doing it for fun, you can ignore this kind of advice. But if you plan to create a real startup, you have to choose your idea thoughtfully, because you'll probably spend hours and weeks and months working on it. 5. Don't look at the competitors, just be aware of them. So we often see creators or startups in general who are afraid of their competitors. The market is big and will become bigger and bigger, so you don't have to be afraid of your competitors. The reason is you don't know how they behave in the inside of their company, because you can't judge a book by its cover. So for example, if I'm talking about PluginLab on the social network, I will say everything is fine, we are growing, we are making a ton of money, because I don't want my competitors or my clients to believe we have problems. But of course we have problems. Every startup has problems. That's just we are constantly fixing things and we are trying to grow and we are doing our best to ship the best product. So don't make the mistake to overlook to your competitors, because you'll not get any real info. You should rather stay focused on building the best product ever instead. So if someone talks to you about a competitor, for example, feel free to install their plugin, just test their product and see if you can find some interesting ideas, but that's it. Don't sneak them every day. That's not something you want to spend your efforts on. 6. Don't force people to pay you, or don't try to fool them. If you add payment at some point to your service, and again, you can do it between 5 and 10 minutes using PluginLab without writing any line of code. If you want to do it, don't try to fool your users. As a startup founder and plugin creator, your goal and your obsession should be to create the best plugin ever for your users. So if users are not using your plugin every day, you'd have no chance to monetize that. So don't try to fool them. Don't try to force them to pay. Don't redirect them to a paywall when they install the plugin. Give them a free trial and see how they behave. See if you can get some power users, because those users will pay. Those users will beg you to pay your plugin actually. So you don't want to be in a position where you're selling all the time, trying to fool people. No, you want to be in a position where people want to buy your product. When we started PluginLab, some people begged us to use PluginLab. Actually, we weren't ready for production use, and some customers told us, hey, I want to purchase your biggest plan. It was a $300 a month plan, and they said, yeah, I'm just bleeding now, I need your solution, I want to use it. So you want to find this kind of behaviors in your users. You want to create a good product enough so they can beg you to pay for it. Obviously, you don't all the time have people begging you to pay, but you must find the right point in between. And last point regarding the monetization. If someone asks you for a refund, don't think about it, just refund. You don't want to fool them. I insist on that point because it's crucial for your business. That's about it, guys. I hope this video has been useful for you. If you want to watch more videos like this one for plugin creators, feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what you're looking for, and I will record a video. Again, if you want to have a ChatGPT plugin on steroids by adding tracking, authentication, payment, code as in no time with no code, you can use PluginLab, so feel free to check out the description. I will add you the link to the videos and also to the website. I will see you in the next video, and I wish you a good rest of your day. Bye bye.